Hello, I'm Armin Budish. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, our doctor's appointment will offer a checkup on the latest health news. Then, we'll talk about the timeliest tactics to touch up your teeth. We'll sneak a peek into the kitchens of Cleveland's favorite chefs. Plus, we have welcoming ways to stay on the wellness wagon. And we'll reveal money-saving Medicare tips for 2013.
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. It's never easy to lose weight, and it only gets harder as we get older. But our overall health depends on overhauling our less than healthy lifestyles. Dr. Eileen Holzer is here with advice for furthering our physically fitness. Dr. Holzer is the director of the weight management program at Metro Health. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm glad to be here.
So it's not our imagination. It really is harder to lose weight as we get older.
Well, we face a few more challenges as we get older. Women in particular face a challenge at the time of menopause when the hormones aren't there to help keep their metabolism or the calories our body uses to keep our body going so brisk. And so one of the keys is to make sure that we maintain our muscle as well as we can as we get older. We tend to lose that as we get older. And if we don't exercise, we won't keep that muscle and our metabolism slows down. We get weaker and we can have more accidents and become more frail.
So I lose muscle and I gain fat.
Yes.
All right. That's not such a good trade-off. So, you know, we talk about losing weight, but you like to talk about losing fat. What's the difference?
Well, one of the keys is it's not just how much you how much you weigh, but what you're made of at that weight. And so one of the things, as we mentioned earlier with our healthy lifestyle overhaul, that we do a lot of things that are very sedentary, and so we don't physically use our bodies, and if you don't use muscle, you lose it. So generally as we age, we lose muscle. We need to do things that keep our heart muscle going, that are aerobic, as well as things that keep our regular muscle that moves our body around together. So we have to do both what we call aerobic exercise and resistance exercise.
Give me an example of what those are.
Yeah. So aerobic exercise is a fancy way of saying the things that make us sweat and make our heart pound. Although when we're aging, it's important to do things more persistently. We can't be weekend warriors without risking injury or having a higher risk of medical problems. So it's important that we do things like walk to keep our heart in shape, or brisk walking. If you've been doing more brisk activity with your doctor's permission, you certainly can, but we start with things like walking or swimming or biking, things like that.
Now, our audience comes in a wide array of ages, and you know, there's some that are very young, and there are some that are very old. Is there an age at which point it's too late and you know you should just forget about the exercise stuff?
No, I refer to this, it's like money. There's no day where you can't invest more in yourself. Basically, taking care of your body each day can make that day better and can help make tomorrow better. So, no.
All right. The Metro Health weight management program has something called gastric bypass surgery. Is that something we should be thinking about? What is it? What does it do? Is that an easy way to lose weight? Tell us about it.
So for people who are severely obese, we're talking folks who are, depending on your height, somewhere between 60 to 100 or more pounds overweight and have medical problems related to obesity. There are surgical options to help treat the obesity and the medical conditions caused by it. One of those is gastric bypass. Another one is called a gastric sleeve, and we do those surgeries at our institution. They are often very viable options, particularly for those under 65, where we get much more durable or maintained weight loss and much better disease control. But you have to do a lot of preparation, and you don't get out of diet and exercise. You get a better result for your diet and exercise, but you have to do them to maintain the medical result.
And do you have to be 60 pounds or 100 pounds overweight? Or, I mean, I hope I'm not quite that much over, but you know, I've always thought, you know, maybe I should just go in. They could just snip here, snip there, and
If it were only that easy. For these surgeries medically, and we're talking about the medical reasons for them, you have to have what's called a body mass index in the range of either being moderately or severely overweight, which for most people, again, is in that 60 to 75 or more pounds overweight with accompanying medical problems. So it's not just for being a little overweight. You have to do that the old-fashioned way.
All right, but those do work, those
No, they're very,
surgeries.
and actually for folks whose obesity is very severe, it's actually the best medical outcome and can save lives and add years to their life.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for your advice. Great advice. Don't wait to lose weight and exercise your right to be fit. Follow Dr. Seeholzer's advice and you'll enjoy many happy and healthy New Years to come.
For more information, call Metro Health at 216-778-7800 or visit www.metrohealth.org. Next, how to get a great grin. But first, you may be all shook up to learn that Elvis Presley once promoted a product on TV. What indulgence had Elvis eating his words? We won't be cruel. We'll serve up the answer when we return.
Welcome to Breckenridge Village, a continuing care retirement community conveniently located in historic Willoughby, Ohio. Whether it's a luxury apartment, a spacious ranch home, or newly built brownstones, it's all here with the added security of knowing more care is available when you need it. Breckenridge Village offers an exciting and upbeat lifestyle, and the food is fabulous, and our staff makes you their #1 priority. Learn more about Breckenridge Village and come see our new Veal Wellness and Aquatic Center.
The only item Elvis Presley ever campaigned for in a commercial was his burning love for Southern-made donuts, an ad that aired in 1954. Maybe he was like many of us who can't help falling in love with those not-so-wholesome treats.
Working towards the noble goal of a healthy new year doesn't stop with diet and exercise. Your teeth can be a window to your wellness as well. Dentist Steve Marsh is here to highlight how your smile can secretly show some serious health issues. Thanks for joining us, Steve.
My pleasure, Armin.
We know about cavities, but fill us in on other concerns.
Well, there's been a lot of research lately that talks about the relationship between gum disease and heart disease. There's always bacteria in our mouths, so it's essential we keep our mouths as clean as we can. But other factors come up. I have a patient who recently came in just to get her teeth looked at. She thought she needed some fillings. We opened her mouth as part of our exam, looked at her tongue, and looking at her tongue, it doesn't look odd. Again, she came just for dental work. Before I even went there, I noticed there was a firmness to her tongue. She was slurring her speech. I talked to her and her husband. It turned out ultimately she had oral cancer.
Oh.
That's another reason in this new year we want to go to the dentist and have a checkup, not just for our teeth, but our general health.
And, you know, we want a healthy smile, but we also want a welcoming smile. Is that a reasonable request?
Oh my gosh, it's absolutely important. You know, we always want to put our best foot forward. You know, especially as we get more mature, people go through divorce. They may be dating again. They may be widowed. It's really important to feel comfortable, to be able to smile for a picture. And you know what, the New Year's a great place because if people have insurance, it's a time where they can use their new insurance. But
And Steve gave me a letter off camera that he had received, and he's too shy to read from it. But I'll just read a sentence or two from it. You know, it starts out, Dear Dr. Marsh, we love you, blah, 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 blah. And then it says, because of you, I now have not only my smile back, but my self-confidence. I can now face the world without embarrassment. It's really nice. I'm not sure you didn't write this yourself.
No, but you know what? It really speaks well to how important a smile is in terms of how you present yourself to the world, whether how you're dressed or whatever. But the smile is really the window to one's soul, I think.
That's really
it's really gratifying to get that.
It's nice to get something like this. So
Sure.
give us some options on how we can make our resolution to have a welcoming smile, make that a
you know,
reality.
things can be done easy or more difficult depending on what you present with. This is a woman who came to me, Armin. You talk about a window to the world and how you present. She's in her 40s. She came to me and said, you know, I'm not confident. I'm unhappy with the smile, the color of my teeth. I've had a lot of work over the years. I don't smile for anyone, and my personality doesn't come out at all. She also could have written that same letter. And we did some whitening of her lower teeth. We did some reshaping, very simple. In the upper front, we did some porcelain veneers. She wrote me a number of letters and a number of emails saying it was life-changing for her. She's met a lot of people, and she just feels much more confident.
And here's another one.
You know, I mentioned divorce. It's pretty common, all too common in our society today. This is a man who came to me. He said he wants to go out and date again. He's in his mid-50s, never liked the space. He was okay when he was married before. Now he wanted to make it better. Some reshaping of his lower teeth, some white teeth with porcelain veneers made a huge difference in how he presented.
All right. Do you have another one? Okay.
Okay, so it's not only people who had these other issues or were single. This is a married man whose wife insisted, had seen us on Golden Opportunities. You know, I look at you every day across the table. We go to sleep at night together. I think it's time to do something with your teeth. Actually, a couple had to be removed. We did some bridge work, some implants to give him that wonderful smile. And he said, while we're doing it, let's make them white.
Looks like somebody else's mouth. Do you have another one?
Yeah, another one. And in this case, it was the husband who brought the wife in. And she said also, her grandkids had said to her, Grandma, your teeth, why are they so dark? They don't look so good. And that was actually enough for her to come in. We used some porcelain veneers on the upper and then did on the lower. So there's a lot that we can done. It's a new year, maybe time for a new smile, whether it's simple or more involved.
Great information, Dr. Marsh. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, Armor.
Your smile can reveal your health and your happiness for both to shine their brightest. Give Steve a call. His number's up next.
See what Dr. Stephen Marsh can do for your smile by calling 440-461-1003 or visit www.clevelandsmiles.com. Next, who's cooking in Cleveland? Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. It's time to try tobogganing, and you're sure to fall for this winter thrill when you visit the Chalet Toboggan Chutes at Cleveland's Metro Parks Millstream Run Reservation. These super sled chutes don't even need snow. To track down more information, trek to your phone and call 440-572-9990 or slide to this website, www.clemetparks.com/recreation/tobogganing.
Michael Simon may have put Cleveland chefs on the national map, but we locals know there are oven-hot cooks all over town. Featuring the cream of our own homegrown crops seemed like the perfect ingredient for a delicious new cookbook. Maria Isabella did just that. She's the author of In the Kitchen with Cleveland's favorite chefs, and she's here to dish on the dishes these cooks create when the cameras are off camera. Thanks for joining us today, Maria.
My pleasure.
So, who are the chefs that share their secrets with you?
Well, I actually featured 35 of Cleveland's top chefs. I include restaurant chefs, including Michael Simon and Karen Small from the Flying Fig and Zach Brule from Parallax.
Yep.
I also include a caterer, Ben Biebenroth, who now owns Spice Kitchen and Bar, as well as the product development chef from Nestle and the executive chef of the Cleveland Clinic's Wellness Institute.
Wow.
So I try to get a wide spectrum of people included. I wanted to make sure I covered old and young and male and female and experienced and up and coming and from all areas of the city.
Now, in your book, are we getting the restaurant recipes or the home on the range creations?
They're definitely their home recipes. I presented the same challenge to each chef in the book, and that was basically if you were to get a call at the last minute from some good friends who wanted to stop over and visit at the last minute, what would you prepare for them in 1 hour or less? And these are what they prepare in their own homes for their own guests, and I'm just so pleased to have their tips that they're sharing with us.
One of the things I liked about the book, and I don't generally read cookbooks, I have to say, I just eat the food, is the stories that you have to tell. Can you share one with us, one that's in the book?
Sure. There's one particular that was fun was with Matt Del Reno, who is the executive chef at the Cleveland Browns Stadium. and he trained at Le Cordon Bleu Culinary Institute. He externed at Disneyland in Paris. He has cooked for celebrities like Aretha Franklin and Tony Bennett, and now he oversees all the restaurants at the stadium as well as the catering events for the suites and private events. And with so much pressure and responsibility, he's still such a down-to-earth home guy, a real family guy. When we showed up at his home to do the photo shoot, there were toys in the driveway and his kids were playing, and he's out preparing a grill in the middle of winter to make the skewers for the restaurant, for the recipe that's in my book.
That's very good. So not all of us may know the names behind the famous places, but we will recognize the restaurants since they're all right here in town, right?
That's right. Just take a quick look at the table of contents and you'll be able to find restaurants in your own neighborhood from Melt to Momocho. And there's a wide variety of places that I'm sure you're familiar with.
Blue Canyon, Johnny's Bar, I mean, they're just Moxie's, they're all over here.
That's right. And a lot of my readers have said that they're surprised at, that they went to school perhaps with one of the chefs or they grew up in the same hometown. So it's really, they're fascinating stories about each chef involved.
Now, are you just not just, but are you a writer, or do you also cook, and would someday you consider opening your own place?
I don't think so. I'm going to leave that to the chefs. It's a hard job. It really is. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of long hours, a lot of heat in the kitchen, so I'm just happy to let them do what they do best.
Well, and you did this best, so thank you very much. With Maria's book, In the Kitchen with Cleveland's Favorite Chefs, you can enjoy a home visit with over 30 creative cooks. Plus, you'll have a roundup of recipes to taste and try. To feast on the facts, use the information that's coming up next.
To order the book, call 419-281-1802. And to learn more about the author, visit www.maria-isabella.com. Next, wishing you a healthy new year. It's time to get up and go. An exercise minute on golden opportunities.
Hello, I'm Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and today we are going to work our shoulders and bicep muscles by doing an upright row using our exercise band. All right, let's go. We're going to start seated upright with our knees and hips at a 90-degree angle. Take the exercise band and place the middle portion right below your feet. Make sure you keep enough pressure on the band so that way the band doesn't slip away from you. All right, slowly we're going to bring our elbows up with our fists coming to the top of the chest and right back down. All right, all the way up to the top and right back down. Slow and controlled movements, and remember to breathe. How's that feel?
You know the answer.
You're doing it great. Try to keep your elbows above your fists all the way. There you go. That was perfect. Beautiful job. 12 to 15 repetitions, 2 to 3 times a week, and now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, please send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 23240 Chagrin Boulevard, Suite 450, Beechwood, Ohio, 44122.
We've talked a lot today about making resolutions for a healthy new year, but we all know making resolutions is one thing. Keeping them, that's something else. So right now, we resolve to help you with that very important second step. Paula Sowers here with tips to help you get well on your way to keeping your wellness resolutions. Paula is the Senior Vice President of Care Management at Medical Mutual of Ohio. Paula, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right, so why is it so easy for people to renege on their resolutions?
I think generally when we all start to make resolutions, we set goals that are way too large. You know, we think about, gee, over the next year I want to lose 50 pounds. And I think it's overwhelming.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, we all do, don't we? We all have things to work on.
I do it every year. I say I want to lose 50 pounds. Never happens. So how do we make sure that we do our resolutions in a way that we can succeed?
I think you have to make them more short term, something that's really realistic, something that's measurable. You know, it's kind of like the first day of college when you go in and you see all these classes and you have all these syllabuses, you're like overwhelmed. But if you just break it down a little bit and think about it smaller, it works much better.
So to help our viewers and to help me, can you give us some examples of how we write our resolutions in a way that's more manageable?
Sure. I think that you think about shorter term short-term things like, you know, how do I want to make sure that I get up today and I walk 30 minutes every day. I want to make the task a shorter-term, measurable thing that you know you can accomplish, and it will take you towards that actual final goal. Maybe you want to do things like, you know, only have 1 soda a day. How do I make sure I eat breakfast every day? That's something that's often recommended that we oftentimes forget. Maybe I want to read food labels and start watching what my caloric intake is. I need to sleep more, sleep 7 hours a night, or practice deep breathing when I get stressed. So if you think about them smaller, shorter, you tend to have more success.
Can I start even shorter? Instead of walking 30 minutes a day, about 3 minutes a day?
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
more my, in fact, on the show, I do my 1-minute exercise.
Yeah.
All right, so what if our resolution really is to lose, let's say, 50 pounds? How do we get there if that's too large a way to do it?
I think you say, instead of I want to lose 50 pounds in 6 months, I want to lose 2 pounds in the next 2 weeks. And just focus on that. How am I going to get to that goal versus thinking about the whole big picture?
Should we constantly be monitoring what we're doing? I mean, should we get on the scale every day? Should we keep a chart of, you know, what we're eating, how many calories? You know, I mean, are those sorts of things that help us? Or?
I think the tools help. I think it depends on the person. Some people are better at monitoring and tracking things versus somebody else might say, if my goal is 2 pounds this week, they may get on the scale and get frustrated if they weren't successful. So it depends on your personality and what you think works the most for you.
All right, so let's go to that. You know, you get on the scale after the day before not doing so well. I mean, it's always the case, you know, that piece of cake for somebody's birthday. I mean, you know, you got to have that, right? You know, you can't, it's insulting not to share it.
Absolutely.
So you get off the wagon 1 day or 2 days. Is that it? I mean, do we go home and forget it and say we'll try again next year?
Yeah, well, I think you have to protect yourself against that. Everybody falls off the wagon, so to speak, on whatever that goal is, and you know, you just say it wasn't a great day and go to bed and get up tomorrow and it's going to be a better day. You'll have more success. Keep at it.
All right, Paula. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Great help.
Thank you.
Resolving to take manageable steps can equal resolution success. Make 2013 your healthiest new year ever, and my congratulations to Paula for successfully keeping her resolution to give us great information today. We'll be right back.
Find out more about Medical Mutual of Ohio by visiting their website, www.medmutual.com. Next, money-saving Medicare tips for the new year.
Sometimes it's about beating the clock. Sometimes it's about beating fate. And sometimes it's about beating the unimaginable. But there's one opponent our team loves to beat more than any other. We love beating the odds. We are the Metro Health System. We are the proud sponsor of the comeback.
Did you miss a phone number or website? Here's your second chance, because we're going to list all that information again. Then we'll be back to tell you the top tips that mean more money from Medicare for you. This new year brings more changes to Medicare, and that means more savings for you if you know the rules. Here to help you keep more of your money in your pocket is my law partner, whose advice is always worth a fortune, Laurie Steiner. Thanks for joining us, Laurie.
No problem.
So you've made a list of the top 3 tips for Medicare savings. First is Uncle Sam is taking another big bite out of the donut hole.
Yes, it's a good thing. So this year when you hit the donut hole, you're going to get a 52.5% discount on brand name drugs, which is up from 50%.
Okay.
But even better, for generics, it's going up to a 21% discount, up from 14%.
Wow, great.
This year, or this past year. So if you can go with generics, the break is pretty good.
Good. And money-saving tip number 2, use preferred pharmacies when you can. What's that?
Well, a growing number of Medicare D plans are giving you a big discount in your copays if you go to a preferred pharmacy. So you really got to check your plan. You can save anywhere from maybe a couple of dollars all the way up to more than $25 per prescription.
Wow.
If you just go to the right pharmacy under your plan.
And you have to look at the plan and they'll show a list.
They'll have a list for you there.
Great.
So actually I have to read something, read about the plan.
Which is not so always
no,
easy to do.
No, it is not. That's true.
Right. Tip number 3, more types of drugs will be covered under Part D.
And this is really good, I think, for a lot of the viewers. This year, some new drugs are available for the very first time on Medicare D plans.
Great.
And they're very common types of drugs. Most important are probably things like diazepam, Valium, Ristoril, Temazepam, they make them so hard, Ativan, Lorazepam, they're going to be covered. And these are the drugs commonly prescribed for insomnia and anxiety and muscle relaxation.
Okay.
Also, some of the barbiturates, such as phenobarbital, are now going to be available, and those could be prescribed for epilepsy and cancer and some chronic mental disorders.
And these drugs were not covered before.
They were never covered before, so people who were getting the prescriptions had to look for alternates, and sometimes the alternate isn't as good.
Now, I know you said top 3 tips, but can you give us a 4th as a bonus for the new year?
Armin, maybe for you.
All right.
Last year's, the insurance company, the maximum cap for covering health insurance had to be not less than $1.25 million.
Okay.
Going into this year, it's raised to $2 million. So that can be really helpful for our viewers who might have chronic big medical bills. It can really be a lifesaver to help cover that.
That's great. Thank you, Laurie. Good advice. Appreciate your money-saving tips.
Sure.
Healthcare costs continue to rise, and they can take a terrible toll on our budgets. But help is on the way if you know your rights and if you follow Laurie's tips. For more information, give Laurie a call. Her number's up next.
Call Budish, Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.budishandsolomon.com.
Thanks for joining us. On next week's show, meet a woman who's back in action after solving her back issues. Then we'll create a sweet treat that will blossom by Valentine's Day. Incontinence is more than inconvenient. We'll share ways to stop the go. Should you buy into pension buyouts? We'll add up the alternatives. Plus, how to boost your Social Security benefits. Until next week, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
Would you like to join our kitchen conversation? All you have to do is call toll-free 1-877-765-1543 and leave us your question, name, and phone number. Or log on to www.golden.tv for all the latest information and show updates.